Hey guys, it's Pastor Bruce. If you recognize these surroundings, we were here back for Matthew chapter 26. This is my own mock-up of the Garden of Gethsemane. It's about as close as I can get to an olive grove in central Virginia. Today we're in Mark chapter 14, and within the verses of this chapter, I think there's an interesting contrast, not just between Jesus and his disciples, but really between Jesus and all of us. Jesus has left the 8. Judas has already gone off to betray him, and Jesus has taken Peter, James, and John, his central 3, and carried them along to go deeper into the garden to pray. And Jesus drops them off, tells them to pray, and then he goes on by himself a little bit. Well, he comes back and he finds them sleeping. And Jesus says this to Peter in verse 38, "Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." I was thinking about that. I really believe that Peter, James, and John wanted to do the right thing. They didn't want to fall asleep, but realized it was late. They'd had a big meal. It had been a busy day. And as human nature would be, they conked out here in the Garden of Gethsemane. What does that teach us about people in our own lives? Well, you know, I've said this out of my own mouth before. Somebody will say something that they plan to do or hope to do, and then they end up not doing it, or they do something else. And my remark will be, well, they just said what they thought I wanted them to hear. Well, you know, I've given that some thought. I really believe that sincere followers of Christ, in their hearts, want to do the right thing. The challenge is, for all of us, that we run into the same snag that Peter, James, and John did here. Our spirit really wants to do it, but our flesh, for whatever reason, because of a weakness that we have, or our history, or our fears, will hold us back. So, how does that contrast to Jesus? Well, Jesus didn't want to die. Jesus didn't want to go to the cross any more than you and I would want to. He went and prayed to the Father and said, I don't want to die. But his spirit continued to lead the way. Why? Because Jesus was surrendered to God the Father and empowered by the Holy Spirit. That's the lesson for us. Yes, our flesh is going to be weak, but if we will surrender to God the Father and be empowered by the Holy Spirit, He can carry us through that weakness to serve Him in the way that He deserves. God bless you as you go.